Let us first of all, one by one, discuss these techniques we have introduced briefly. Tissue culture technique. It is raising new plants from tissues. We are using tissues for raising new plants. How? Because tissues, they are totipotent, because they are, every cell is having a complete potential to make a new cell. So tissues, if we are using, for example, nodes, internodes, or leaves, or anything which are having a combination of cell, it is really possible to increase and produce new varieties of those individuals. It is capable of resisting pests and pathogen. How? Because during tissue culture, we are inoculating them with certain medium with disease-free environment, as well as to produce a new variety and capability in them in order to resist the things themselves. How? Because we can change their genes in artificially too. So examples are also there. For example, fungicides, the chemicals to kill fungi, they can be having capable of resisting these things. The plants which are produced by tissue culture technique, they can directly resist these things themselves by having that very gene into them that have been added by transgenic plants we have mentioned earlier. So we can make a fungicide, that is a chemical to kill fungi, or pesticide, the chemical to control pests, insecticides, the chemicals to kill insects. These are the varieties by which we can show that these things can easily be controlled, and now it is really possible to make a plant free of fungus, pest, and insects respectively. Biological control. As we have mentioned earlier, that biological control is to control some disease or some pest or some insect biologically. By the help of any life, we can eradicate it. The best thing about the biological control is to avoid pollution. So it is non-toxic because we are using life for them. It is a control by living organisms. It can eliminate all hazards. Hazards here are mentioning the effect of fungicides or insecticides or something like that. In this, living organisms, they controlled, such as fungus, pests, and insects. They are being controlled by the help of different types of organisms themselves. For example, competition. It means the things actually undergo the competition. If one compete with another for nutrition, for space, and for other things, it is really not possible for both of them to survive at the same level and both of them to survive for the natural selection. So when competition is held artificially, it would eradicate those individuals which are weak, and they can be avoided to come next. Next is killing. To kill them by introducing some poisons on drugs or chemicals and kill them artificially in order to avoid those things. For example, aphids, they attack walnut trees and they attach it, controlling. They can be controlled by wasp. Wasp is a parasite of aphid. So both of them, they are living organisms, but one living organism, that is aphid, it is dangerous for walnut trees because it is attacking it, and now it is sucking the juice by its stylet, and it can pierce the phloem into, and it can actually suck the ready-made juice of phloem by its stylet. It is dangerous for walnut trees. That's why it are being controlled by wasps. Wasps are, they're not harmful to walnut trees. That's why they are attacking the aphids, and when they attack aphids, they would eradicate aphids for us. That was unintentionally made by wasp, because wasp is the natural parasite of aphids. It would destroy aphids, and unintentionally or indirectly it would save all walnut trees, although its own structure is not attacking the walnut trees themselves. That's why this is one of the best examples of biological control, in which one life is controlling the other one during competition and parasitism, but it is actually saving the trees for our. Similarly, some biopesticides are there. As the name indicate, pesticides. These are those lives which are removing pests from that of the environment. For example, bacteria and fungus. Both of them, they are biopesticides. They can actually save us from that of the pests directly by attacking them unintentionally. They're just attacking them by their natural environment and their natural behavior, but unintentionally they are helping us and we are using them as biopesticides. Here is a diagram of biological control in which a wasp is attacking an aphid. It is really very simple to observe that this attack would kill that aphid, and aphid would definitely release our walnut trees. Its population would decrease and walnut trees would be saved indirectly or unintentionally. Here is the cycle in which the wasp can destroy the aphids. How? Because it is very typical and unusual sort of cycle in which the wasp is laying eggs in aphid's body. This is the oviposition given over here, and the growth of the larvae of those wasps, they are actually being in the aphids, and at that time these green bugs would die, and these death its death, it would actually remove our own parasites for walnut trees, and but the wasps would increase its own life by raising an adult parasites, and here adult parasite is given, this one. So walnut trees are being saved indirectly I should say, indirectly through wasps, which are the parasites of aphids, and aphids, they are the parasites of walnut trees. So this is a cyclic reaction which is showing a complete description about biological control, and that is the best example.